What's up, everybody? It is Monday, February 14th, 2022. It's Valentine's Day. Are you feeling the love? I hope you woke up to chocolates and little candies with meaningless slogans on them. And I hope you're going out to dinner with someone you love. I hope you're surrounded by roses and all that good stuff. And whether you are or aren't, you're here with me. And I love you as much as someone on this side of the camera could love someone watching me. You know what I mean? Like, I have very warm feelings for you people. You guys seem to like me. When I meet you at the store, you say nice things. Sometimes people say they love me, but I always find that a bit much. It's like, I'm doing the best I can here, but it's cool. But I do love you guys to a certain extent. It would be the definition of love that we'd have to whittle down. That's for another show. But I am very excited to be here on this Monday morning. We got a big show for you. We're doing another one of these narrative shows. This seems to be the trend that we're moving in over here on the Rubin Report, where we're doing sort of half-hour shows with a real through line from top to bottom, as I've mentioned, to kind of show you where we were, where we're going, how we got there, and maybe how we could get out of some of this nonsense. What we're mostly focusing on today is just the abject lunacy that was on display at the Super Bowl yesterday, the endless hypocrisy and nonsense with celebrities unmasked as they mask children, and we're going to mix in a whole bunch of politicians and all that stuff. And I will have to put a lot of money. We got an official jar. I've been talking about this Escape Cali Fund, and at the end of the year, every time I mention California gratuitously on this show, because it's a horrible, horrible place, and I don't want to bludgeon you by talking about California now that I've fled. But every time I mention California, I will put another $5 bill into this jar. We've got a whole bunch of them today, okay, because I'm going to be talking about California a bunch because the Super Bowl was in Los Angeles. And what we're going to do is at the end of the year, we're going to take all the money that has been put in here and we're going to give it to somebody, no strings attached, to move from California. I'd like you to move to Florida. That would be my goal. But if you go to Texas, you go to Tennessee, South Dakota, whatever, Arizona, be just fine. I'd prefer it to be someone in Florida. This will be for someone in the locals community. So if you want a chance, and I'll throw in a couple extra $1,000 too at the end of the year, because I just feel so strongly about this, that we must destroy California and we must save the free state of Florida and some of these other free states. So we're going to be throwing a lot of cash in today. Okay, people, that's what we're doing here on the Rubin Report. Oh, and I didn't mention it, but if you're watching this, you might be watching on Rumble, and I appreciate it. You might be watching on YouTube, and you might be watching on BlazeTV. That's just fantastic. Do me a favor, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And before we get to any of that, people, I want to talk to you about Z-Stack. If the last 2 years have taught us anything, it's that you must take control of your own health. Ain't it the truth? It's clear that you can't simply rely on the government or big pharma to protect you and your family. That's where Z-Stack comes in. Z-Stack is a specially formulated immune-boosting supplement that includes zinc, quercetin, vitamin C, and vitamin D, formulated by Dr. Vlad Zelenko, the world-renowned doctor that President Trump credited with his early successful treatment protocol and his decision to take HCQ. Z-Stack has been scientifically formulated, is kosher and GMP certified, and it's produced right here in the good old US of A. By taking Z-Stack daily, you're supercharging your immune system. Z-Stack is formulated to help combat any and all variants as well as the flu. So I encourage you to take it now to stay ahead of any potential future variants by preparing your immune system. By ordering Z-Stack, you'll become part of the Z family and receive exclusive updates from Dr. Zelenko on this pandemic. Go to zstacklife.com/Dave today and enter the promo code Dave to get a small discount off your first order. That's zstacklife.com/Dave, promo code Dave. And now back to me. Okay, trust me, this is a jam-packed show. If hypocrisy and nonsense and lunacy and psychosis are the types of things that could knock you out of your chair or off your couch, then I want you to buckle in. I want you to sit real tight, okay? I'm back in my chair today because it's just endless with these people, and we have to figure out how to deal with them going forward. So yesterday, of course, was the Super Bowl. It was the Los Angeles Rams versus the Cincinnati Bengals. I did not watch 1 minute of the NFL this year. I was never a huge football fan, but I've always somewhat enjoyed it. Certainly always watched the Super Bowl, probably since I'm 10 years old. Didn't watch any. Everything's just become so politicized. Colin Kaepernick, Black Lives Matter, all the stuff. They've just ruined everything. You guys know all that. But the Super Bowl was in Los Angeles. So not only was it a Los Angeles team, the Rams, but it was also in Los Angeles. That's pretty rare that happens. And they did ask for people or require people to wear masks. We've got the official quote from the LA Times. NFL officials joined with local leaders to reiterate that masks will be required for fans at the Super Bowl in Inglewood. Okay, so masks were required at the Super Bowl in Inglewood. Do I have to repeat myself? Okay, now people started showing up. And let's remember, of course, Los Angeles is still in some version of lockdown. Tons of restaurants are still closed. People aren't going to work, the crime, all the stuff that you guys all know about. They've got the kids in masks still. To go to supermarkets, you got to wear masks. I mean, thank God I left that horrible place. And here's some cash to prove it. Put some cash in the jar right now. I will do this throughout the show. But they go to the Super Bowl, the people, and they're required to wear masks. And then there was this really fantastic video that they show on the official broadcast of celebrities at the game. And are they wearing masks?
We're in Hollywood. Who do we got here? We got Jay-Z. Matt Damon. Charlize Theron is here. LeBron. Emmett Smith.
There you go. There's my kind of celebrity.
Yeah, now we're talking.
Of course, there's an all-time celebrity row here tonight for Super Bowl 56. Andy Garcia, Chris Tucker, taking it all in. Get those pictures. Basketball royalty in the house. LeBron James. And, of course, Irvin, Magic, Johnson. Actresses, well, Charlize Theron is in the house. Mark Wahlberg making a call, making sure his peeps are here. John Penn looking cool as ever. And Matt Damon finding his...
Look at all of those Los Angeles area celebrities. People who are better than you. They're rich, they have power, they're elite. They are served by people who are always wearing masks, but they don't have to wear masks even though it was required. Even though I have no doubt that virtually all of those people who are leftists have had no problem with mandates and keeping kids, masked up and everything else. There's Ben Affleck. Can we go back to Ben Affleck over there for just a sec? Can we go back to Ben? Because Ben, as you may remember, Ben Affleck, I dedicated Don't Burn This Book to Ben Affleck because he's such a psychotic, hysterical leftist that he had that crazy moment with Bill Maher and Sam Harris on his show years ago that was one of my wake-ups to how insane the left has become. So he's with J-Lo over there. Who else was in there? We got The Rock. I think he was there. Yeah, there's The Rock. This is the same Rock person, Rock man, who, about a week ago defended Joe Rogan, then got a little pushback. So he rescinded his defense of Joe Rogan only to have a tweet where he called someone a tranny exposed. So they're just great people, these people. Who else? We got one more. There was what's his name? Who's that guy? Ryan Reynolds. I think he was Green Lantern or something. There's that guy. And he was Deadpool. Thank you. And there's LeBron, Mr. China himself. So it never ends with these people. Of course, then there was Ellen DeGeneres. And I thought this was a good one because Ellen posts this selfie here. Ellen is enjoying the Super Bowl without a mask, yet she still requires her audience to wear a mask. Hypocrite. That's from the libs of TikTok, Twitter, which is really fantastic. One of the few good things on Twitter. But really look at that. Really, really look at that. There's Ellen DeGeneres, leftist hero, progressive, lesbian, the whole shebang. And now look what she does to her own audience when they're at her show. I've been in that studio, okay? It's a big studio, a lot of room, a lot of air. The stage is very, very far from the audience. And she keeps them all masked up. And there's all the stuff that, the stories that have broken about her in the last year where she doesn't let employees look her in the eye and like a whole bunch of weird stuff. These people, but I know, and I want to be clear about this, I don't think that calling out their hypocrisy is going to do anything. I really don't. So we'll get to what we can do to them in just a minute. But I think it's important that we at least really see it, like really see it and feel it, because they are still ramping up, not just keeping kids in masks in Los Angeles, California, and places like New York. They're actually ramping it up to some degree. Now here, of course, is the mayor of Los Angeles. This is my former mayor, Eric Garcetti. I hate this man. Eric, this is for you. $5 to get someone to flee Los Angeles and move to Florida. So there he is. He's standing there. He's wearing a Rams outfit. He's talking to people, and his mouth appears to be open. Now, one of the key things that he has told us when he's talking to people and they want to take pictures with him is that he holds his breath. That's one of the things he says. He holds his breath when he takes pictures so that he cannot get or spread COVID. I'm not making this up. I think you probably saw this last week, but here you go.
I wore my mask the entire game, and when people ask for a photograph, I hold my breath and I put it here, and people could see that. There's a 0% chance of infection from
evil. Like, there's nothing else you can call this than evil. There's a 0% chance of infection if I hold my breath while taking a selfie. Please show me the science on that, you prick. Like, please. And it's just absurd. Like, it's absurd at every level, because you then, and you probably just sucked in a whole bunch of germs. You're a liar. You're a fraud. You people need to be dealt with. Again, we'll get to that in just a moment. But if you think that the hypocrisy in watching all these celebrities not follow the edicts that they're all for, and then, of course, all the employees that work there, the people that are working for minimum wage, that are serving them the beer and the drinks, and they're all sitting in their, in their booths, in those boxes that, cost hundreds of thousands of dollars and all that good stuff. They don't mind that. But they also like to have kids masked when they're around kids, even at the Super Bowl. Here's video from the LA Youth Orchestra. And as you'll see, the kids have to wear masks. The adults, not so much.
Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught.
Just painting a picture of hypocrisy here, because the mask stuff is actually getting worse in Los Angeles right now as it relates to kids, because for these past 2 years, you've been allowed to wear a cloth mask. Now, there are many reasons that you shouldn't have had to do that at all. And certainly after the 2 weeks to flatten the curve thing, we all should have reevaluated. We all made mistakes along the way. Okay, so be it. But for 2 years, people have been wearing cloth masks. And now, of course, all the experts are coming out and saying cloth masks don't work. You touch your face more, the germs can get up and in, they down and in, sideways and in. As you know, Fauci was telling friends that masks don't work in the first place, so don't worry about it when they're on vacation, while he was literally telling us to double mask. I mean, these people have lied about everything at every level, endlessly, nonstop this entire time. But now they're even upping the mask situation back in January, the end of the month. So this is really about 2.5 weeks ago. We've got some info from ABC News. Students in Los Angeles public schools must wear a non-cloth mask with a nose wire at all times, including during sports, the district announced in a letter to families this weekend. These people are criminals and hypocrites. And again, at the end, I will get to what we should do with them. Meaning that the cloth mask that they told us was doing something for the last 2 years, it does jack shit. And they've decided, now that we know, or we're going to admit that it does jack shit, we're actually going to have them all in N95s with the metal on the nose. We know that it's affecting children's mouths. So speech is now delayed. They can't see the teachers, the way they use their mouths. So for young kids, this is absolutely horrific. But Democrats just keep pushing more and more. We've got a tweet here from Kyle Becker, who's an actual journalist, over something that happened this weekend. Breaking: 221 House Democrats blocked consideration of the Unmask Our Kids Act, which was H.R. 6619. So basically, Republicans were trying to get something passed to get the kids out of masks. And 221 Democrats, criminals. They're criminals. They're criminals and child abusers. That's what they are. Sorry. They blocked it. And it just continues. So New York Governor Kathy Hochul, this woman, this is the woman that zero people, I don't mean that as a white supremacist sign, zero people voted for this lunatic, okay? She's the one that replaced Andrew Cuomo when he stepped down. And you may remember my show when I came back on the grid on September 1st of this past year after a month off. That's when Andrew Cuomo went down, was in August. And Adam Carolla was the guest host on the show. And Adam Carolla tells me, Cuomo's out. And before he told me who was stepping in to take charge of New York, I said, whoever it is, they're going to be worse. I have no doubt that they're going to be worse. We should have clipped that and grabbed it. Because of course I was right, because that's what happens with all of these people. Well, now Kathy Hochul has extended the statewide mask mandate for 2-year and up kids in school, okay? 2 years and up, she wants these kids in masks. Well, I can't believe we have. Here's Kathy just a couple days ago. Look at her smiling. God, she's the C word. C word, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I know I can't say it. Because will we get demonetized if I just say, no, I won't say the C word, but if I say the C word. I'm not going to say the 4-letter word, but I'm saying the C word, or we're screwed. We're screwed. It's worth it. Whatever. It's worth it. She's the C word. What else can we say about these people? So there she is, masked kids. Yeah, who cares about the kids, even though there's no chance these kids are going to die of COVID. And the adults, they're all just fine. They're all just fine. But there's more from her, right? We've got more from the Super Bowl. Or was there another? Oh, no, we've got another image. Oh, here's the Super Bowl one. Yeah, this is great. So this is her yesterday in Buffalo. So she's masking kids, and here she is indoors in Buffalo with that shit-eating grin. I despise these people. I don't know who that dude is. He's probably fine. But I absolutely hate these people. And then do we have the other image of Hochul from a couple days ago? Hochul. Look at her. She wants to be a celebrity more than anything else with the masked reporter. And she stands there wanting to be a celebrity and a star on a red carpet. And ugh. Can I also vomit in this thing? I should probably also. And I'm sorry that I'm not going to save someone from New York. I'm giving all this money for someone to escape California. But I'll help New York people escape here. I'm putting in $10 right there for this. This is I've just had it with these people. So if you're in the Rubin Report community, again, just start letting us know. If you're thinking about getting out of Cali, I'm going to give somebody a couple $1,000 at least. Maybe we'll do more. We'll figure it. Maybe I'll crowdfund it. You know what I mean? $1 million. Will you take $1 million and get the hell out of there? If you don't think that what these freaks and liars and hypocrites are doing is evil, well, now we've got some video. This is from Benny Johnson on Twitter, my buddy Benny Johnson, who's been on the show. Some video out of Las Vegas. And here's what happened at a grade school when the teacher told the children that they no longer have to wear masks.
Starting tomorrow, we don't have to wear masks anymore. Is anybody excited?
You see what they've done? What they have done to innocent children. These people are child abusers. That's what they are. So Kathy Hochul, is it Hochul or Hochul? I don't care. She's just Kathy C word. That's what I'm going to call her from now on. I'm going to call her Kathy C for now on. Put that in the notes, okay, going forward. Kathy C over here, okay, this woman. So she's expanding the mask situation on the kids, okay? And at the same time, she realizes that the adults have had it. So now we've got video of her, and she's actually rescinding some of the stuff related to businesses because this is all very, very confusing.
We had a mask or vax requirement for businesses. It was an emergency temporary measure put in place literally 2 months ago. And at this time, we say that it's the right decision to lift this mandate for indoor businesses and let counties, cities, and businesses to make their own decisions on what they want to do with respect to masks or the vaccination requirement. Given the declining cases, given declining hospitalizations, that is why we feel comfortable to lift this in effect tomorrow.
So she's lifting it in effect tomorrow, which I think tomorrow means today, actually. She's going to leave it up to counties and businesses and people to make choices for themselves, which is exactly what all of us crazy right-wingers have been demanding this entire time. But now they'll get credit. Oh my God, you see, there's a liberal who's not a complete fucking lunatic. Oh my God. And everyone will go, oh, you see, she's such a good person, Kathy C. word. She's so great. She's letting people have some choice, which is exactly what the rest of us demanded this entire time. Well, you know what, Kathy Seward? I'm not letting you get away with it, because now there is a new study that has come out that has shown that lockdowns did jack poop. Okay, we've got some info here from the Washington Times. Lockdowns in the US and Europe had little or no impact in reducing deaths from COVID-19, according to a new analysis by researchers at Johns Hopkins University. The lockdowns during the early phase of the pandemic in 2020 reduced COVID-19 mortality by about 0.2%, said the broad review of multiple scientific studies. We find no evidence that lockdowns, school closures, border closures, and limiting gatherings have had a noticeable effect on COVID-19 mortality, the researchers wrote. But the research paper said lockdowns did have devastating effects on the economy and contributed to numerous social ills. They have contributed to reducing economic activity, raising unemployment, reducing schooling, causing political unrest, contributing to domestic violence, and undermining liberal democracy, the report said. Such a standard benefit cost calculation leads to a strong conclusion. Lockdowns should be rejected out of hand as a pandemic policy instrument, the paper concluded. Okay? Lockdowns didn't work. They didn't work. They were made up from the beginning. Okay? It was all made up. None of this had anything to do with science. All of the masks, all of the nonsense, everything that they've done. And then the second part of that is more interesting. It's like, not only did it not do anything related to COVID to stop people from getting COVID, stop the mortality rates and everything else, it actually damaged everything about the world that we now know, right? All the stuff that is worse now, right? Economically, socially, all of it is worse now because of this. So then we thought, all right, well, that was from the Washington Post. Could we get some other headlines? Like maybe the Washington Post, maybe they're not that bad. Maybe they're kind of coming around. Well, how about this for a little juxtaposition? Here are two Washington Post headlines. One of them, a couple months back when they were going after Ron DeSantis. It's an opinion piece. I will grant them that, but they've really blurred the lines between opinion and actual fact checking. So opinion, Florida's new anti-masking law denies us key tools to protect our schools from future COVID surges. Well, I just read you a study that shows that's complete nonsense, but that's what they were telling you over at the Washington Post a couple months back, because it would make Florida look bad. And then, of course, just from a few days ago, Washington Post, mask mandates didn't make much of a difference anyway. Do you see how they've made people completely insane? If you have tried to use any sense of logic and reason throughout this thing, if you have tried to not become a complete psychopath and paranoid lunatic during all of this, it's a miracle. And that's why I say, if you're roughly sane right now, and I suspect if you're watching this, if you're ballpark sane, you're not just like a complete paranoid nutbag, you haven't lost your mind, you don't believe in completely different things, the entire system hasn't broke you, then I commend you. And I offer you $5 in the jar to move someone from crazy California to free Florida. Now, what's beautiful about all of this, and there is a silver lining, okay? And I am going to get to what we have to do to these people at the end. But there is a silver lining. There are thousands and thousands, millions of people worldwide that are standing up to this nonsense right now. The draconian lockdowns, the way they have abused power, that Western democracies have become completely illiberal, has woken up the masses. And they make it very hard for us to see, right? Because CNN won't cover it, and New York Times won't cover it, or at least they won't cover it in an honest way. But we've been talking about this Canadian trucker convoy for the last 2 weeks, where thousands and thousands, if not at this point millions of Canadians, are standing up and saying, no more of this bullshit, Trudeau. We want to go back to our lives. You don't own us. And Trudeau is just absolutely the worst. We'll get to him in a second. But the convoys have been going all throughout Canada. It's just been beautiful. Trudeau, of course, said it was because these people are transphobes, which would mean that a whole bunch of people got together, and because of their irrational fear of trans people, they started protesting throughout Canada. But it's spreading, okay? It's spreading throughout the world. Here is Australia. Beautiful, like absolutely beautiful. And guess what? It's not going to be a super spreader event. And those people chose to go and they love their country. That's what they're actually applauding for right there. Absolutely beautiful, despite the insanity of what's going on over in Australia. But it's spreading throughout the world. Here's Paris, France. I have no doubt that those people are all over the political map. Some of them are more conservative. Some of them are more liberal. These are people who just want to live freely. So we've got Canada, we've got Australia, we've got France, and this just in the last 2 or 3 hours from Jerusalem, Israel. Do you think that's because those crazy Jews have an irrational fear of trans people? Or maybe it's because their own government has forced them to be injected 4 times and 87 boosters and everything else. Now, before we get to the next portion of all of this, and then to my conclusion about what we're going to do with these people, just a bit more of what's going on in Canada right now. Do you guys see the through line here? At these protests, they have the flags of their nations because these people realize that the people are the rightful inheritors of the nations, not the politicians. So those are people with Canadian flags chanting freedom. What you saw a moment ago was good, decent Australians with Australian flags talking about how much they love their country. And we've shown you all the videos, how instead of burning down buildings and looting and everything else, which the mainstream media told us was okay all over the world during Black Lives Matter and all the rest of the nonsense of the last 2 years, do you think that maybe that was because they really wanted to just get rid of Trump and we haven't actually solved racism, but they don't need their foot soldiers out there anymore? So it's all stopped in the last year because they've got Biden as the president. You think maybe there's something there? Crazy, I know. These people are good people who love their country and just want to live freely. And they're not bigots and racists and everything else. And I will continue to stand with them. And now I thought this would be an interesting thing to show. So Bill Maher, and you guys know I've been somewhat critical of Bill Maher because he's just late to the party. And it's fine. And when you're late to the party, I think those of us that have been here first, that have gotten most of this stuff right, we want to be gracious to the people that get here. But we also want to get them to the end of the road. Well, Bill Maher on his show on Real Time this past Friday really went off on Justin Trudeau. And I would just preface this by saying Bill Maher, a liberal, and Justin Trudeau, the head of the Liberal Party in Canada. Take a look.
I started to read what he said. This is a couple of weeks ago. He was, or maybe this is September, but he was talking about people who are not vaccinated. He said they don't believe in science. They're often misogynistic, often racist. No, they're not.
That was not smart of him at all.
Right. He said, but they take up space. And with that, we have to make a choice in terms of a leader as a country. Do we tolerate these people? It's like, tolerate them. Now you do sound like Hitler.
That was...
and recently he talked about them holding unacceptable views.
Wow. I'm surprised to hear that Trudeau said those things.
You didn't see the blackface? I mean, he's no, I'm kidding about that. I'm not, I mean, that was not a good look for him.
No,
but, I mean, come on. I mean, that's, I think, what gets under people's skin.
All right, putting aside Bill Maher for just a moment, there's Marianne Williamson on there. Marianne Williamson, who I've had on the show, who did my show, and then the second the cameras went off, basically told me that she actually was a libertarian and that she had never got as much hate from the right as she was getting from the left, and she called it a cult. not only is that true, I assure you that that's true, but she was also, I think it was on Eric Bolling's show on Newsmax once where they left the mic on after, if I'm not mistaken, and she said the exact same thing to him. But so she sits there shocked. She's got her duck face. You know, she does that thing that women do like this. And I'm shocked. I can't believe Trudeau would say that sort of, I can't believe it. But she's a good liberal too. Why are you shocked? This is what you people have brought upon us. So first, again, I want to give Bill Maher total credit here, and watching him get there has been great. And again, Bill, you gotta, and I know the producers are watching, you gotta get to the end of the road. You gotta tell people to stop voting for Democrats. It's as simple as that. Otherwise, you guys just usher in all of the nonsense, and then you try to basically destroy Republicans and conservatives, and then 2 years later, you just repeat what they're saying, and then everybody applauds you for it. This game cannot be played anymore. Like, maybe there was a time where that game could be played, right? And I get it. Like, the real-time show is sort of an airlock for what's allowed in mainstream culture or something like that. But this cannot be played anymore. You get it, Bill. So it's time, you can't just say, the liberals are all idiots. I'm a good liberal. No, maybe there's something wrong. Maybe there's a bigger problem, okay? I don't want to get lost on that. But it's good to see. By and large, it is good to see that this is happening. So before we get to the final segment today, which is just a humdinger that you're going to love, a couple locals comments. Sweetwater says, a sincere thank you to every citizen of the world who is fighting tyranny. Yes, I thank all of you good people, and thank yourselves and thank each other. Pat says, next time the Super Bowl should be held in America. And that would be good. That's a good one. That's a good one. I see what you did there. Chuck Bob says, I have a friend in California who sent me a mask for Christmas. I didn't have the heart to tell him we haven't worn masks in my state for months and months. Oh my God, if I got a mask for Christmas, like that would be it. I don't lose friends over politics, or at least not, it's a one-way street for me, so I've lost friends over politics, their choice. I don't get rid of friends, but if someone sent me a mask, that's it, wrapping it up. Anyway, the theme of today, and I've got some more money here I want to give to the fund. Let's just put some more money in the fund for the good people. Hate you, Eric Garcetti, Kathy Hochul. Oh, I'm sorry, Kathy Seward. That's for you. There you go. If you think the people have not had it, and if you think that enough of us don't get it yet, well, then this is just the most beautiful thing you're ever going to see. The mayor of Boston, her name is Michelle Wu. She is a Democrat. She is a progressive. She is a liar and a hypocrite and an anti-science buffoon, just like the rest of them. She hates children, and I would argue that basically she's a child abuser at this point. That's what these people are, okay? Well, Michelle Wu, I almost called her Kathy Seward, but same difference. She did an Instagram Live to talk about her policies. And, well, the people weren't having it.
Oh, so she's unable to join. Okay. In the meantime, I will try to just fill time by answering any questions anyone has. I see a lot of friends who have different, oh, Happy New Year. Yes, Year of the Tiger. Very, very cute tiger emoji.
It goes on and on and on. At one point, she has so little to say, she just looks at the camera and says, I love snow, okay? These people are horrible, the masses. And by the way, you think maybe this is why they want to censor us? You think maybe this is why algorithmic tricks and making sure that people don't see certain comments and YouTube took away the downvote thing? You think all of these things are connected because it's the people who are standing up against the elites. That woman is just a horrible person. I don't get any great joy talking about these people this way. Like, it's sort of funny in a way, Kathy Seward, but like in another way, these people are child abusers. They have no respect for the laws of the United States. They don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about just your innate ability to live freely as you see fit. So, as I've hinted at several times, what do we do with these people? What do we do with these people? I was thinking about it all weekend. Like, I actually stopped watching the Super Bowl after the first quarter last night. I just could not take it. I could not take it. I was just like, the hypocrisy here, it's off the charts. Like, I don't care enough about the game, and the commercials all sucked. The commercials, by the way, are all member berries. You know member berries from South Park, where it's basically like people just like need to like, oh my God, I remember that thing from 1986. And I love old references. But like all the commercials are just old songs and old references and everything else of a time that was better than the bullshit that these people have ushered in now. Like there's nothing new. We need some new stuff. But let's put that aside for a second. What do we do with these people? Now, I don't think we're the side of lists, right? Like the other side likes lists. Remember after the election when Trump was out and AOC and all the Democrats were talking about the lists. We're going to have lists of people that supported Trump so we know who to go after, right? Who they can put in the gulag and everything else. It's like, we don't like lists. I don't like lists of political enemies and that sort of thing. But we have to think honestly, if we're ever going to get out of this, let's say COVID is sort of wrapping up right now. Like you can see it. It's too obvious for everyone right now. All the stuff that I just showed you, like, it's too obvious. The abuse of children versus the way the elites live. Like it's the cat is out of the bag. So if we're, and also because of the midterms, you can see the Democrats are opening things up. That's why Hochul, Kathy Seward, that's why she is now rescinding the mandates and things, because she knows the Democrats are about to get trounced in the election, as they should. And no matter how badly they should get beat, they get beat. It should be probably 10 times worse. But as the narrative shifts, we cannot forget what these people did. Go back to the study that I just referenced from Washington Post, from Johns Hopkins University. Some of the things that they have done to us. Actually, can we pull that part up again, Connor? Can we pull up some of the text on that, or I'll go up here. Some of what they've done in terms of the depression and everything else. Phoenix, you can go down just a little bit, what they've done. Not only did they find no evidence that lockdowns in schools that it did anything, but get me to the part of the things that they did notice that it did a little bit further down. They had devastating effects on the economy, contributed to numerous social ills. They have contributed to reducing economic activity, raising unemployment, reducing schooling, causing political unrest, contributing to domestic violence, and undermining liberal democracy. Okay, but you guys don't even need a study to understand that. You know what it's done in your own life. The division it's caused amongst friends and family, the anger it's caused amongst your co-citizens and everything else. All the stuff related to kids, and that they're still putting kids in masks and all of these things. So what do we do with these people? And I guess I don't have an exact answer. I do think to some degree we have to jail some of these people. Like these people should be put on trial. We need some mechanism to get out of this. We can't just, even if we're really going to open up right now, which of course we should open up fully. And I live in Florida, so I'm doing just fine over here. Okay. But if the country and the world is to open up again, like, should we just move on and not do anything about the people that did this to all of us, that ruined the world that was pretty good? And maybe not enough of us fought for that world for long enough. Maybe we didn't realize how good we have it and had it. I guess had it better than have it. What do we do? And I think the only way we can actually put a pin in it and say this was a moment that we must remember is that some of these people must be put on trial. These people that abused our laws and abused our children and ruined so many people's lives, and the drug use and all the stuff, you know it. So I would love to continue this conversation. I will continue it in rubinreport.locals.com. We'll get the community talking about it in there, and I'll read some comments tomorrow. And I think we really have to think about it. We really do have to think about it as a free society. You know, when they give you your freedom back, it's like, well, who took the freedom and why'd they take it? And are there repercussions for that? That's what we have to figure out. But I think some of these people, they have to go down. I hate to do it. I don't like the idea of gulags. I don't like the idea of political prisoners. But they have done something extraordinarily evil here. And there has to be a price to pay. That's how I'm kicking off Monday, with jailing my political opponents. You see what you've done? I hope you're happy. Here's a little more cash for the Escape Cali fund. There we go. It's my last $5 bill for today. I think I put in $100 today. That's all right. That's all right. Guys, part one of my interview with Charlie Kirk from Turning Point USA will be up on YouTube and Rumble this afternoon. The full is up on Locals already. Have a great day, everybody. And to Kathy C., we'll see you soon.